Now, one thing I would not like is that because we are not actually satisfied by a situation, then we'll now start playing down on a particular player or start to give some kind of analysis to actually back up why a club would do something. But now Thomas Partey is not the kind of player you replace that easily. Am I saying that Arsenal should have accepted whatever deal Thomas Partey was asking for? No. They're a club, they know what they want. So, and of course, I feel like Thomas Partey was being very selfish, or he's been very selfish with his demands. Knowing that the club has been with you for the past how many seasons, you were signed on a 5-year deal, and 4 of those five seasons, you were injured. You missed so many games, and just once that you decide to be fit, you decide starting for a race. And I understand the situation concerning Thomas Partey mean that okay, he's entering the final stages of his career, and then he wants a big deal. But that being said, but it doesn't mean that Arsenal have to accept it, and it still doesn't mean for Arsenal that they have to just not think about these things. Sometimes. Now, I feel like Arsenal has made a more riskier, approach by allowing Thomas Partey go than allowing him stay. They've made that. This is my feeling. Now, for Christian Nogard and Zubimendi was supposed to come in, and be an understudy for Partey. Maybe Partey plays 1 more season or 2 more seasons and then he leaves. It would have been a better thing. That was what I was expecting Arsenal to have done with Granit Xhaka. Do everything to keep Granit Xhaka, get a player that would understudy him, and then that player can leave. Selling key players like this without having an understudy sometimes affects the progress of the team. Christian Nogard is not an upgrade for Thomas Partey. Let's get that one straight. He leaves tackles. Thomas Partey is not about tackles. In fact, how many tackles does Thomas Partey even make? Thomas Partey is not a tackler. He just knows how to read the game and make tackles when necessary. And then his ball carrying abilities is something that is rare. You don't find these things just in the market. There are very few players that can carry the ball. And that's why I feel like, this guy should have stayed. But like I said, he's not. It's Arsenal, and then they decide to make whatever decisions they want to make. But don't come online here and start making analysis on how Christian Nogard has recovered 5,200 or 2,000 balls. That is not what Thomas Partey is. Thomas Partey's profile of player is hard to find. Hopefully, Zubimendi can maybe replace this guy. Hopefully, but I think that I just feel like Arsenal has taken maybe one little bit of step backwards as concerns that midfield. Of course, I expect them to invest heavily in the attack, in the striker position, or getting a winger or whatever. I expect them to invest there. That's where Arteta has not really invested on. But letting Thomas Partey go might